For crime? Crime Watch. Crime. Please welcome Mr. Wong, our first speaker.
Good night, everyone. Reintroduce Keno Wong, who is in charge of all the Crime Watch, I believe, for all of the communities in the Bahamas. Well-versed, and we have some dynamic crime watch programs in each constituency. And so we and some of the police officers has already been in the neighborhood, and we have been going door to door, trying to find out who will be interested in helping us, especially if we see exactly what's going on. But I believe if we can be our brothers and sisters keepers, we can cut down a lot of things that's going on in this community. So after he's through, we have a list here if anybody's interested, because we will do election stuff, and he'll go through all of that. But I just want to let you know that we really want to get very active in being our brothers and sisters keepers in God. Yeah.
Well, first of all, good evening, God Hills.
Good evening.
It's good to be here. This is my second time actually greeting the folks of God Hills. I think it was late last year, or almost a year ago. And when Doctors Hospital was here, as well as another insurance company,
Financial.
Yes, Financial, talking about the Burial Society program. I'm Keno Wong, like I was introduced. I am the national chairman for the Bahamas National Neighborhood Watch Council, which comprises of communities throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, primarily here in New Providence, Grand Bahama, Eleuthera, Exuma, and Abaco. And hopefully right after May, we'll start to move into some other islands of the Bahamas. The National Neighborhood Watch program has over 160 neighborhood watch groups. And like I said, it's basically right here in New Providence and throughout the other islands I mentioned earlier. The main objective is to basically know who are the people in your community. Do we really know our neighbors? That's the question I ask. How well do you know your neighbors? How really well do you know your neighbors? You get up in the morning, you start your car. If you have an electrical gate, what you do, you click it on, and you go to your business, you see your neighbor, you blow a horn, and that's about it. Case point, that's it. We really don't know our neighbors. We think we know them. New people come into our communities, and someone say, do you know that person? No, child, I don't know that person. I only see them come and go. As a family of 5 or family of 4, and that's it. But we don't know them. So the key component of the National Neighborhood Council or program is to know who are the people in your community. How well do you know them? Then secondly, is to observe and report what you see. Because you want to look out for your neighbor, and you're hoping that your neighbor look out for you. And the question I put before all of us in this room tonight is this. When a crime happens in your community, who do you call? Let's talk to each other. If a crime happens in your community, who do you call? The police.
You should call.
You should call the police.
We know we call our friend.
So we call a friend. You're right, Toastmaster. We call a friend sometimes. We call the neighbor, say, you see something?
Exactly.
And the neighbor will say, child, you know what? Man, I just see that red car put in your yard. So right there, they come to you.
Exactly.
And so that red car take everything out the house. And then you upset with your neighbor because your neighbor ain't called you when they saw the car. And so now your mind running and saying, I wonder if my neighbor was a part of that.
Exactly.
But did you ever have a good relationship with your neighbor?
No.
Because you put your ficus trees up, you put your wall up to about 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, and then you put your fence up, and so you don't want your neighbor seeing your yard. You're so disgusting. Like I said, we are all disgusted. We ain't want to turn the outdoor lights on because we home. And so when someone breaks into your yard in the night and take your bumper or take something else from your home, you asking everyone, you see anything? Why? You then at your house in darkness when since you reach home? You close your door, you lock it up, and you don't care about no one else besides you and your family. Well, the National Neighborhood Watch wants to stop that. We want to be able to reach each one in our community, one household at a time, reconnecting each other. There's a saying from another companies, we connect, we bridge everyone together through technology. I'm not going to give no one advertisement, but that's what we do, right? They have signs all over the country, connect this and connect that and connect that one, right? You know, and I'm not going to say because there's another representative from another company in here as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I got to keep it that way, right? And so if I mention one, I got to mention the other.
Yeah.
But connecting each other and forging a sustainable relationship with your neighbors help prevent crime. It really helps. And the vision is connecting people and empowering communities to foster safer and stronger communities. And so the men may say this, and the women may say this, I ain't be no snitch for no policeman. I ain't telling them nothing. I ain't saying a word to them that's too bad. But when crime comes to your house, you anticipate that same neighbor to come and help you. You want him or her to tell you what they saw or what they have seen during that period of time. God knows you have an opportunity to really embrace the opportunity to have a peaceful communities that it used to be. I remember growing up in Garden Hills, being the minister, Mario Boleg. We used to walk from Avadine, we used to come down the slippery hill. Any of you want to live on that side?
Greasy Hill.
Greasy Hill, there you go. And we used to put our bikes underneath our hips and we coming down. We used to come straight down. All right, that's coming into Garden Hills number 1. All right, and from there I walk into Garden Hills number 2. So we had those days, and those days were great days. All right, except for 1 or 2 crime, people break into your home when you first move in the area, and we figure out they was coming in from Malcolm allotment, or they was coming in from Angleston. All right, until you catch one, because I know my uncles them catch one in Garden Hills, and my aunt is here today in here, so I know with that. I was a little teenage boy, and I know you got caught. All right, but we must get back to the days that we grew up on, being our neighbor keeper. All right? Some people say crime is down. Maybe in other areas. Maybe crime may be down in housebreaking. Maybe crime may be down in petty theft. Maybe crime may be down in bumper stealing. All right? We may not know the statistics. But then when we hear someone get killed, then we say in our minds, is crime really down? But there could be crime be down, because if you look through your corner where you live, when last did someone else get break into? Just think about it. When last did someone's car got stolen or break it into in your community or through your corner? When last did someone get stabbed through your corner? When last did someone got murdered through your corner? Logistically, look at it. Is crime high in your community? And if it is not, then, or if it is, this is the right program to get involved with. Because you will be the eyes and ears for each other. And that's the component of it. To be smart, to be safe. You know, we talk about CCTVs and so forth. I'll give you a hint. If your community would like to have CCTVs and you all come together and purchase it, that's the hardware part of it. The government and the Ministry of National Security is willing to install them and connect with the fiber optic company that they are engaged with and install them free and connect it to the real time with the police. So when something happens in your community, they have the footage. Because sometimes all of us have these little cameras in our homes, and when it looks so good in the daytime, but oh, when the night comes, we cut off all the lights, right? And expect for that to shine like in the day, but the lights needs to be on around your home to get that glare. But we have it so dark, and some of us are so cheap. We don't want to keep no light on in the night because we think that doesn't cause our light bill to go up. But let me tell you, it hasn't caused my light bill to go up. Because it's for safety. And when you have a home that you have invested in, you would like to be safe. One of the other tips I'll tell you this. How many of us, and let's be honest, how many of us truly know our neighbors? Truly knows our neighbors? Good hands. Now, how many of us have our neighbors' numbers? Some. I see some of the hands that went down. How many of us call our neighbors when we coming home late at night? No hands. Think about that. That's something to think about. You are coming home as a female in the night. You want to get your bike. Girl, I ready, man. I just ready. You got all these keys on you. You don't even know which one's for the gate. Oh, Jesus, you ready on me. And what happened? Your car gone, your key is gone, you made a back trunk of the car, and your bag gone, all of your passport and NID card and everything in there. These days you got your card with a chip on it, and they can go to one place and wipe it, and the gas station people don't even ask you for no ID. Because everything's just wipe, gone. There's no pin you're putting in. Just push in, pull up. And so time as you catch yourself, someone then run $200, $300, $400, $500 of your debit card easy. Yep. Because you're so frantic, you don't know what's going on. You're screaming outside, and because we have the air conditions on and the TV on and the NBA playoffs on or baseball on, you don't want to hear nothing. And so the following day or that night you see the police cars coming through and you're trying to figure, well, what happened? Something happened. Then the neighbor says, y'all didn't hear me screaming? All right? For me, I have one thing on my keys. Car key. That's all I have. Just a car key. And when I come home late at night, as a business owner as well, I call my neighbor to the left and to the right and I say, hey, don't come. Colby, I know it's for 12:30 in the morning, but I just finishing off a job. I'm coming off Burnett Road. I should be home in about 5 minutes. Just look up one place. I coming home. And that's what I do because that's the type of neighbors that you should have. The relationship. My neighbor has my house keys and my gate keys because that's the relationship we have developed. I have his, he has mine. I didn't say that everyone else have it, but I have one individual. Okay? That's the closest one to me as I walk out. He's to my right. All right? So he goes for days because he's a fisherman. So I check his home periodically. If I see something, I say, okay, that sounds strange. And I'll say, you expecting someone? No, Mr. Wong, I'm not expecting no one. Good. I get on the phone, I call Chief Superintendent Strawn. I say, hey, my neighbor's not expecting the one to be in his yard. And there's a stranger in his yard. I need some assistance. This is the kind of model of the car, license like AA146, gray, Sienna, whatever, and 2 men in the yard. This is just an example. Okay? So now I have that. I'm not going to approach them, but I have it now. And so let the police deal with it. And then you got smartphones, right? Yeah. We like to use it for every other foolishness, right? Yeah. Use it for good. So there are communities in Garden Hills that spans from Pride Estate up to Blue Hill Estate. I mean, it goes way back on that side of town. And so there are good communities. There are good people in these communities. Pride Estate has a very knitted community. I see a representative from Pride Estate is here, who is a part of their home association. And so they have a good thing going on in their area. They look out for one another on a daily basis. I don't see Dino, I saw Dino outside earlier, and a couple others. But they have a good thing going on in their community. However, other communities in the Garden Hills constituency area can also do it. It's just a matter of people coming together through your street, even if you just do it for your corner. It might not have to be the whole gardeners number 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. Because when I was growing up, it was only 1 and 2. And all of a sudden they say 3 on Blue Hillside. So on the regular day went 1 number 4. But it was always just 1 and 2. So I don't know where the 3 came into play. But however, the main hub of it is getting to know the people in your community, man. If you really want to fight this demon called crime, get to know the people in your community. Walk in your community together. Call, this division is very mixed up for gardeners when you look at the constituency boundary. Because a portion of gardeners' constituency boundary is with the Carmichael Road Police Station.
Yes.
And portion of it is dealing with the South Beach Police Station. And then on the main highway, a little portion of it is dealing with the South Central Police Station. So you have basically 3 police division that is dealing with gardeners in terms of the constituency. Okay? Because if you call, if Pride Estate call and say they call and Carmichael got to come to them. And those who in gardeners 1 and 2, you got to call South Beach. And right now where we are, you might not believe that this is a part of the South Central area. No, well, let's come on Carmichael. So this is on this side of the road, it's Carmichael, and on the other side, it's South Beach. So the road is just separating the police boundary, but not the constituency boundary. So you must know that. So if you live on this side of the street, on this side where we're standing right now, you will call the Carmichael Road Police Station for assistance. If you're on the other side, on the South Beach, and if you're on the highway, you're between South Central, which is the Grove Station, or you call 919, 911 for assistance. And so the NNWC mission, the neighborhood mission is to provide strategic leadership to all neighborhood watch groups by fostering effective partnership with the police, the community, to prevent crime and improve safety and advance the quality of life for all Bahamians. Like I said, we have groups in Grand Bahama, Eleuthera, Abaco, and Exuma. And the men is the most important aspect of any community neighborhood watch. The men. How many of you know about Blair State out in the east? Okay. Drive in there in the night. Act the fool. I dare you. I on camera, I dare you. Act the fool and go and Blair Estate anytime between 9 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I dare you to go act the fool. It's a movie. There's a real movie in there. And if you think you're bad enough with your things, they got bad enough things too. Because I tested out myself. I have a black van, very black and tinted, but someone knew I was coming. But times I get off the village road to get in there, I went through one corner, all I knew before, in less than 3 minutes, I had about 4 different trucks surrounding me. Get out. And I was like, oh boy. So I had to call the president and say, hey, look like, so he said, stand down. That was a test. That's how quick they move. And very seldom you hear any but crime in Blair State. High tech, in every aspect of the word high tech. Cameras, motion sensors, they got you on lock and key. Why? Because I'm getting back to that same point at the beginning. Invest in your community. And if you don't invest in your community where you live, don't expect Mario Bolegos, the minister, to invest. There's only so much he can do. The government only can do so much for your community. When you purchase that property and build that home, did the government pay for that? No. Let me ask you the question again. When you went to the bank or the real estate and bought that piece of land and built your home on it, did the government help you build that? No. So who owns it? Me. You in the bank?
That's right.
All right? You then pay for it. Oh, you don't pay for it. But if you so you are responsible for that piece. That's your investment. And I can say something to you all right now. You might think it's crazy. Who does the earth belongs to? Us. No, what does the Bible say? Earth it belongs to who?
Lord.
You only born in the land. Let's be real now. You never thought about that, eh? You only own that land.
That's right.
Because if you'd have owned the land, you would have never had to buy the land. Let's be real now. Because when I buy the land from Miss Hadley, okay, she buy that from somebody else. And then she sell it to me. And I sell it to somebody else. So what? To keep on what? Revolving itself. But the land ain't belong to none of us. Because the Bible declares that the earth is the Lord. And what else? That's something new we learned.
Amen.
But we claim it's ours. Because we occupying until he returns. And so as God has demanded us, love thy neighbor as thyself, which means that you must look out for one another in your communities. If you want safer and better communities, look out for each other, ladies and gents. All right?
How do you build that relationship with your neighbor to allow them to have access to your home? How did you build that?
I'll ask you this question, right back to you. Where you live, you see your neighbors more than you see your relatives. Your neighbor should be your relative by now. If you live in a community and you've been living on the side of that neighbor for 5 to 10, 15, 20 years, and you can't trust that neighbor, you can't even trust yourself. Let's be real. You live on the side of a neighbor for 15, 20 years in your community, and you still don't know your neighbor. You will have a party next door and don't even invite them. All right? Your children graduating from university and they don't even know. They don't even know your birthday. They don't even have an emergency contact for you in the event that something happens to you in your home. They don't know who to call. Let's be real with each other. We lose it. But our parents and our foreparents had that relationship with those individuals while they were alive. I grew up with my grandparents, and my mother left me when I was just in elementary school and went to live in the United States of America. So my aunt, which is here, is Donna, she grew me up all of my adult life. Really. So when my mom used to come, I'm coming to you right now. When my mom used to come to Nassau, I had a confusion because I used to say, Mom. My Grammy was my mom. Because that's who I never called her Grammy. And even when she passed away, and everyone saw on the obituary that grandson, there's like grandson. I thought I was her son. Because wherever she went, I was there. But again, back to the point, we say, how do you get so close? We had a neighbor opposite us in Gardner's name is Emmanuel. And after school, if no one was home in Gardner's, that's where I had to go. May her soul rest in peace, because one morning the house blew up. She mistakenly left the gas on and went to light the match for boiling water, and the whole roof blew off. You know, but you have to know the neighbors. Go ahead now.
Mr. Wong,
Yes.
I hear what you say, and everything that you say is really good, but the reality is, back in the day, you could have leave your children and know your neighbors and leave the key and everything with your neighbors back in the day. This is a different era. When we were growing up, I can remember, I must be, but I don't exactly remember, but I was about 3. My neighbor could take us to New York and other places whenever she was going away. Where you could leave your child, send your child now these days to go with the neighbor to New York. This is a different era. So I hear what you're saying, but it's so hard to even trust your neighbor, even trust your boyfriend, or trust somebody these days. It's a different era.
Well, I understand you apply on that. However, the question still remains. If if I live on the side of you for 15, 20 years and you can't trust me, there's an issue. There's a fundamental psychological issue. Because when you got pregnant, you and your husband, or whatever, you all had a child together, the neighbor was there before the child was born. And they was excited for you to have this child. You know when the neighbor had the child too? Because you say, girl, you're Rosie. All right? So you knew your neighbors before you even had a child. Okay? And sometimes we move into communities where we already had children. But my point is that I hear your point of knocking that down. Yes, 15, 25 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, we might have had that opportunity where our neighbors used to take our kids everywhere that they were going, because mom and pop back then had a relationship that they built with each other in the community. What did we do? Did we take those same values and continue to instill in us into our children, and also to get to know our neighbors? Or we kept sheltered in our own little four walls, and we distant ourselves? So there's no trust factor with my beloved sister, because I don't know who she is. I see her through the fence. Hey neighbor, what's happening? Everything good? Yeah girl, I'm good. Have a good evening. And all they do is this, clock, anxiety. But you've got to get to know the people in your community. If you can't have that trust factor with the person on the left and the right side of you, there's a serious issue. And if you're traveling and they don't even know you're traveling, then how do you expect for them to look out for you? You should have someone in your community that you trust, and they trust you. I have that in my community. Matter of fact, in my community, when anyone is going away, we have a nice WhatsApp group. They may not put it in the group, but they send a message to me and say, Mr. Wong, I'm traveling, me and the family traveling for 2 or 3 days. We're not expecting anyone to come to our homes, but if there's an emergency, here's the person you can contact for us. All right? I said, do you wish for me to say it in the group? No, not at this time. And I respect that privacy level. And then they'll say to me, well, hey, I'm going to stop by and drop a key for you just in case something happens. And then they said, I'll give the alarm company your number. So the alarm goes off, my phone will ring and say, Mr. Wong, calling for ABC home. The alarm is on. Is everything all right? And I'll say, give me a second. I look at the camera system and look at it. Sometimes, cats, dogs pass up and down. It catches the motion sensor. The same time you call the police, they come, they patrol the community, and they see it. But we can get back to these days. We have to be able to have what we call potluck in our community. Go in the park. Do things together. Share some love in the community. Knock on the door. Like someone said, campaigns won't come, right? All maybe majority of you in here knock on somebody's door, right? And you have the name on the list, right? Yeah, house number 13 Stubbs. Yeah, Pinkassi Avenue. Yeah, Donna, yeah, Sam, yeah, this one, that one, yeah. So they knock on the door. Hey, Mr. Stubbs, how you doing? So if you could do that campaigning, you could do that for your community. If you're serious about having safer and better communities, take the opportunity and look at the register. You know who's on those streets. You can knock on the door, with the police officer walk with you, and you can say, and they'll be like, oh, you know my name. I'm part of the community. This is our community, and I'd like to know if you'd like to join the National Neighborhood Watch Program. And so at the end of the day, I can go on about this because I have a passion for it. Love thy neighbor as thyself. That's the best that I can give you. Today I have here with me the Deputy Chairman of the National Neighborhood Watch Council. He's from the Millennium Gardens community, Mr. Jason Fitzgerald. So I'm happy to have him with me. It's good to see my good friend. I used to beat up on him in school, just kidding. Mr. Vinny Johnson. It's good to see him as well. And also, like I say, You know, she's my aunt, but also like a mother. Donna Stubbs, who sits in the back. So, over here. But I'm a product of Garden Hills. I'm a product of Garden Hills. When I came in the gardens with my grandparents, it was dirt road. And Garden Hills number 2. And everything was just mountains. As a little boy, we used to go on top of the mountains where the owls go and drop little pebbles down in some cars until someone taught us. You know, but that was years ago. The road was only so one way in, one that way. And the 2 mountains was right on the side of it. I don't know how many of y'all remember that. But there was 2 big mountains. All right? And so they cut it down after years, but plenty owls used to be in there in the nights. And we used to go up there at the night and look at the owls. You see their beautiful eyes. Sometimes they come out trying to get you. You know, but that's years ago. And so, like I said, I'm a product of Garden Hills. I'm happy to be here. The National Neighborhood Watch Council is situated at the Ministry of National Security. And wherever we can assist, Sergeant Sweeting is responsible for the Garden Hills area from the South Beach Police Station. Sergeant Kenesha Forbes is from the Michael, and then from the Grove Station, if you're closer to the Grove, that will be Corporal Robert Notes, you know, or Sergeant Notes. Can't remember, I don't know if the right name is the first one, but I know it's Sergeant Notes. And so, like I said, if you want to mimic a community in the Garden Hills constituency area, go into Pride Estate, speak to Byron Musgrove, speak to, Ms. Prado is here, Prad Adley, did I get it right? Adley Pratt, sorry. All right, I know your homeowner association president was here. She's still here, okay, I saw outside. So if you want to know more about it, like I said, you can call us at the Ministry of National Security, just ask them to put you onto the unit for Neighborhood Watch Program, or you go into Pride Estate and speak to them in there with Byron Musgrove and others who may be able to assist you as well. So it's a pleasure being here, and may God bless you.
We just have to watch your time, but you good.